unique to our patch is that we are the northwest of Sydney is a priority growth centre. That means basically a lot of newly rezoned land, some of it formerly farms. So we have a lot of unsophisticated private owners, retired, elderly citizens and their families. So you have to take a different approach when we're dealing with these clients. There's a lot more face-to-face time, more understanding, listening, compassion and managing expectations.
The challenges in the southeastern market have been a massive increase in land values over the last 12 to 18 months. The reason for that has purely been around the lack of greenfield sites and having to get more creative and look at brownfield sites. Developers are finding it much harder to get funding, and in turn they're having to lift the end value of their product and decrease the size to make it feasible. Occupiers are having to move another 5, 10, 15 kilometres further out than where they'd want to, which is also causing more congestion on the roads.
The challenges to operating in WA are having the landlords and the tenants being based so far away. Not just geographically, but with the timing-wise, with the time difference. So inspections don't occur as often, you can't be as spontaneous, so everything's got to be a lot more methodic and you've got to be a lot more detailed in all your information because they just don't really know what's going on the ground.
I think our challenge is probably not just unique to our state, it's probably the leasing market. It's very shallow, from about 3,000 square metres and less. There's a knock-on effect for that as well. With such a shallow leasing market, it does affect further ongoing sales, such as our land sales. So doing design and construct or building and land packages are all affected by our leasing rate and the strength of our tenancy market.
So a clear emerging trend in our state is the strength of the owner-occupier. Low interest rate environment, some land available to purchase. We have far more inquiry for people looking to buy their own facility or develop their own facility rather than lease. So the strong emerging trend is the owner-occupier. The product segment type, which is very strong, is the infrastructure development related businesses. So civil contracting, earthworks, excavation, scaffolding, and that side of our of New South Wales development at the moment is developing or creating a lot of demand in our markets. Secondly, and worth a mention, is the rise of the data centre owner-occupier as a potential buyer in industrial land.
An emerging trend in the southeast of Melbourne is that we've seen a larger influx of investment opportunities, sub $5 million, come onto the market. The main reason is, I believe, the historic low yields and a lack of stock in the market.
We're seeing a bit of a rebound in the mining sector, which is good. We're finding that a lot of the smaller workshops and the medium-sized workshops that have been vacant for 3-4 years now have all started to lease up, and expecting that to sort of continue and now looking at sort of more design and constructs now that the supply isn't there to satisfy the demand.
What we are looking at is efficiencies in buildings, and some of that is coming to the design of the buildings. We are seeing that height in particular and volumetric size has been the big mover or the big trend as racking equipment and lift equipment has become attainable or cheaper to run. So that's probably the biggest trend that we've seen.
There's no industrial in Fiji, even though the surfing would be good. I'd be right where I am. Sydney, in particular the northwest of Sydney, is going to be the best place to work for the next decade easily.
If I could work in any industrial market in the world, I think I'd work in China, and specifically to the port of Shanghai, where I believe they see around 37 million containers come through the port a year versus Melbourne's 2.5 million a year. I think it'd be fascinating to see the scale of which they operate and logistically how they function.
If I had a choice of working anywhere in the world, I'd probably have to say Perth. It's got lots of sun and the boat access is phenomenal. So yeah, I'd have to say Perth.
The Americas for me, in particular North America, probably the Bay Area or San Diego, but somewhere on the West Coast. Couple of reasons. Obviously the economy there is extremely strong, one of the largest in the world. But on a selfish side, there's some pretty good surf and snow close by as well.